Welcome back to the CJ Bushido channel. Today's a bit of a different format. I have no idea what you're watching right now. I'm probably just going to splice over some old footage that I'm just going to reuse. But today we're going to do more of a podcasty type episode. First of all, to celebrate that the channel passed 100 subscribers a few days ago. Thank you so much, everybody. I had no idea that there was even this amount of demand for niche content in a small war game, seeing as we're mostly focused on no editing but long form competitive gameplay. Cool. Thank you so much. I'm seeing where this might go. Like if the subscriber count keeps going up, I might even add in more different style of content. It's definitely really fun to do, and especially getting all the positive feedback from the community has been nothing short of amazing. So thank you, everybody. It's really heartwarming to see that there's so much support for what all the content creators have been doing. Not only the really awesome podcasty people, but also other YouTube channels. I especially myself love content from Project Dice Games. I think their editing is great. I wish I had their skills. I don't, so I'm not even going to pretend. Um, and also obviously I love all of the podcasts and consume everything I can get my hands on, so I understand where you guys are also coming from. But today I thought I'd just talk about my own story because it's coming up to close on 1 year exactly of playing Bushido. It's weird because it feels like it's been so much longer because so much has happened. Like it's not just picking up the game and playing a few games. um, it's actually had an impact on my life, which is really weird to say because no other game has had that so far. But I'll go into detail on that a little bit later. Um, Again, like this is a very unscripted, rambling thing. I have 12 words on my desktop to keep me somewhat online, but we'll see how it goes. And yeah, so almost a year ago, I actually started to play Bushido, but my story starts a little bit earlier during COVID. During COVID, I think this was 3 years ago, roughly in 22, I first saw a game of Bushido being played at the weekly meetup that we have here in my small town of Koblenz. And two other players were playing this game. And I was like, oh, that's cool, Samurai. And I really love Japan and its culture. As my wife is Japanese and I speak Japanese, and I was like, let's have a look at this. And so I was just spectating the game and asking them about the rules and had a flick through the rule book and thought, hey, this looks cool. And especially as it was a small scale skirmisher, you don't need too many models. The barrier to entry seems like it's kind of low. I mean, I was immediately interested. And one of the players offered to give me a demo game, and that sounded really good. So what I did was I went onto the GCT store website and had a look at, what models look good, because seeing as I knew nothing about the game, I thought, let's just start with the rule of cool. That rule has never disappointed me, and yeah, I saw at that time it was a new release, the wolves from the Shiho, the Tanaka samurai. And I was like, oh, they look epic. So I tried ordering them, but they were out of stock. And I wrote an email to GCT because I was like, oh, maybe they have one lying around. But I got an email back, and sadly, they were literally out of stock. So they couldn't even sell me one if they wanted to. So I was like, darn, what do we do now? And then I think it was a few weeks later, the loyalist box popped up in my feed. And I was like, oh, sure, same faction. They look even cooler with their hats. Let's go for these guys. So I ordered the loyalist box and a few more models just to bring myself up to 100 rice because I knew that was the standard game size. Obviously, knowing nothing about the game, but all these awesome models to pick from. And once they arrived, I eagerly assembled them and painted them up, ready for my first demo game with this guy that I knew, only to figure out that literally a week before I got my models and finished painting, he had accepted a job in a different city and moved to said city and was no longer in the area. And the other guy he was playing against had stopped playing Bushido altogether and sold his models. So I was um, stuck a bit because now I was the only person in my town with Bushido, and there was no one to play with. And my best friend, God rest his soul, what a beautiful guy he is. I know he's not dead, just a figure of speech. Uh, I think more out of pity, picked up the Ito starter and a few models like Itsunagi and stuff like that to bring himself up to 100 rice, so we could play some demo games. And he's really into the Japanese style himself, big fan of Lord of the Five Rings. So it was something he could get into as himself. And we played like 3 or 4 games. Really, we had no clue what we were doing. We got the rules so wrong so many times, like completely misunderstanding basic things. But we had a ton of fun. However, it was it was not really fulfilling because like after every game, reading through the rulebook again, I'd noticed like we got everything wrong, and that game was kind of like not really what the game was supposed to be. Like in the first game, we didn't even know you could move into a melee with the melee that it had a move attached to it. So we thought we had to charge into melee. Obviously, like knowing that and not having to do that changes the game wildly. Um, but yeah, I mean, beginners be beginners, right? And we had no experienced player to help us. So I kind of decided, okay, like we're kind of just treading water here. I'm going to go to a tournament and just, learn how to play the game properly. And if I like it, I'll continue it. And if not, let's just call it a day. So I looked for a local tournament, and lo and behold, lucky me, a month away was a semi-local tournament just an hour away from my city in Wiesbaden, and I signed up for it. It was a very tiny thing, just 5 players, me included. And maybe that's a good thing. I thought I'll have more time. It's not too busy, and I can talk with the guys a little bit more. And yeah, so I drove down to Wiesbaden with my Shiho list, with a few Ronin at this point, because I picked up a few more models and they were just really, really cool. And yeah, played my first actual game of Bushido, luckily against Ito, so the only faction I had some experience with, and I was able to win the game. And I was like, oh yeah, that's cool. Got most of the things right, so I've got the gist of the game. Seems fairly easy. It's all right. It's a fun game. And in the second round, I took a bye on purpose as I was really, really tired because at that time my baby was still only just 1 years old and wasn't properly sleeping through the night. So I was actually kind of happy to just have a break and just watch a game because I wanted to learn about the game anyway. So I drifted between the other 2 games during round 2 and had a coffee and was starting to slowly wake up, and the brain was starting to function better again. And then in round 3, I got paired against this Savage Wave player, and I had no idea what these Savage Wave things do, and I just picked a list because I had no idea what I was doing, and it turns out I ran into Bakemono. And I've never been thrashed at a game so hard. Like I got destroyed. And the best thing was that game was really fun. It's like the most fun I've had in an absolute while because it turns out my opponent was Mutaz. And Mutaz opened my eyes to how deep this game actually is and how many tricks you can do, how many, zone of control manipulation things you can do. Like he was summoning Bakemono behind me to pin me into terrain and stop me influencing idols and stuff like that. It was super cool. I started to see like, oh my god, this game is so much deeper than I actually initially thought, and this game is way more interesting than I initially thought. Like after my first game, I was, still unsure. Like, oh yeah, it's like kind of a nice game. You can just roll some dice, kill some people. There's this little bluffing mechanic with attack and defense dice. Oh no, oh no, no, no. This game is hard. This game is deep. So I got destroyed, and I had a chat with Mutaz after the game for like almost an hour of just going into like what ifs and what should I have done there. And I think at that moment I just fell in love with the game and its rule set. The rule set might be a little bit wonky at times, but it plays so unbelievably well. And I'd highly recommend anybody, if you're listening and you don't play Bushido, what are you doing? First of all, on my channel, and second of all, get the game and start playing. Like, it's the best game I've played so far, and it's not even close. So what ended up happening was, on the way home, I had so much going on in my head on that drive home from that tournament, thinking about what could I have done against Mutaz's list and how could I have tried to win the game here and there and all of these what ifs. And yeah, I just noticed like, I need to play this game more. So I signed up for another tournament 2 months down the line and yeah, got onto the Discord properly and just started a really deep dive into the game. Um, However, I just ran into one big problem, which was I didn't really have a local meta, so it was really hard for me to get games in. As said, I only had my best friend who played Ito. He only had these few models, and he still, wasn't very invested into the game and still isn't to this day. Shame it is, but he plays way too many different games. Um, so like after a few games, I was just consistently destroying him, and the skill gap just kind of made playing games a little bit moot if I wanted to get proper practice in. So we'd still play like once in a while and just have a fun little game, but there wasn't much learning going on. Like I wasn't exploring new interactions, and that was what I really craved. So at that time, I was like, okay, what else can I do? And on the Discord, I found this TTS section that was like semi abandoned. There was like one person posting maybe once every 2 to 3 months, hey, is up somebody up for a game, or if someone can make a rookie league, I'd be interested in signing up. But there was like zero traction. I was like, okay, um, I'd love to play in that. And I'd played a lot of TTS in different systems before, and that worked really well. So I was like, okay, cool. Let's have a look at this TTS mod. And it worked just fine. And I was like, okay, excellent. I understand. There's this army builder mod where you get your models and the game itself, and everything is there. Cool, I can play a game. So I played a game on TTS with my friend just to test it out, and it went fine. And I was like, okay, let be the change you want to see. So let's try and get a TTS, rookie league going. So I poked and prodded everybody I could find who had ever posted in that channel. I was like, hey, I'm going to start a league. Do you want to sign up? Hey, I'm going to start a little rookie tournament. Come on, sign up, sign up, sign up. And I just wanted to get something off the ground, right? Just as like a proof of concept. So it wasn't even on Longshanks. It was just me and an Excel spreadsheet, super, scuffed. But um, I just wanted to get it off the ground. And somehow we even got 8 players, of which 6 actually properly played. 2 people only played like 1 round, I think it was. One guy had to drop because of work, and very, very scuffed. But it worked. And I was like, hey, this is actually cool. And because we had started generating more posts in the TTS section, like it was starting to wake up, more and more people were like, hey, I'd actually play the next time if you guys go again. So I was like, sure, let's do that, and let's make it proper this time. So I put it up on Longshanks, and lo and behold, we had 16 players, and I was like, what on earth is happening? Now, that tournament wasn't smooth either at all. There was some drama that happened, and a player had to drop. But all in all, it was an amazing result. We got in so many great games. I met many new people, even from not too far away from where I live, but kind of just outside driving range. But this was a great way I noticed to connect with people, and we were getting in people from different countries. And one person I'm eternally grateful to at this point, and probably will be for a long, long time, is Aiku, who kind of does most of the grunt work in managing the mod. So he signed up for that first tournament, and seeing the TTS tournament, and some more interest in TTS kind of remotivated him to keep working on the mod because it had kind of fallen asleep at this point. So he did a ton, and I mean a ton of work in the background, many, many hours of updating and getting all the information correct, correcting small mistakes so that we would have a better experience the second time around and the third time around. So do give him a shout out and a thank you whenever you get the chance. It's kind of mostly his work. And not kind of mostly, it really is mostly his work. So thank you, Aiku. This wouldn't be possible without you. And second of all, thank you to all the players who signed up because, again, this just wouldn't be possible without you. And then, we were like, okay, that second tournament was great. Let's go again. And the next tournament had 38 people sign up. And I was like, well, what on earth is going on? Like, this is insane. Um, and ever since, it's been going great. And now we even have a TTS Masters. I mean, what? Close to a year ago, TTS was dead, and there was like maybe a game a year or two games a year happening. And now we have a full blown Masters tournament. And on Sunday, in a few days, I'm going to be hosting a webinar together with Vantla to introduce a new exclusive model sneak peek and have the community vote on some things about that model. Um, what? I'm still in a disbelief, as you can hear, and I'm just so grateful and having so much fun with it. So thank you, everybody. This is amazing. And at the same time, hobby wise, I've dropped every other game system I used to play, and it's kind of not because those are bad games, but I, I I've just noticed I've stopped having fun playing these other systems in comparison to Bushido because the depth just isn't there. Like, yeah, there's some strategy and some decisions, but it's really shallow in comparison to the insane depth that Bushido has. And this is just exactly right for me. Like, this is just what I want. So, yeah, I still have all my models. I wouldn't sell them, but yeah, I only play Bushido now, like, kind of exclusively. Like, maybe once in a blue moon for a favor, I'll play a game with my friend. But yeah, I kind of just want to play Bushido because Bushido game good, and people should play more Bushido and play it with me and play on TTS. Damn you! If you're listening, sign up. We have 100 subscribers. Where are those 100 people in the TTS Masters? Um, no pressure, guys. But really, really seriously, consider it. It's an amazing way to just A, get more games in, and like B, just meet new people. And it's been so fun reaching out and talking to so many people in different countries, even who I would never ever get the chance to meet except through TTS. Um, Thirdly, I think there's just this other benefit of I would believe it's starting to improve like the average strength of all the players because every time I sign up to the tournament, like a before and after, I notice I have this massive upswing in my understanding about the game and my own perceived strength at the game. Like, does not mean that I'm good at the game because I'm not. This game is way too hard. Um, and I understand fully well that my rating is overinflated and means nothing, and also that there is a massive gap to people who actually deserve to be, at the top of the rating charts. No way in hell would I ever, beat, the actual top players in a competitive setting with competitive lists. Um, but so what? I can feel I'm getting closer every time, and doesn't mean I'm close at all. Way is, they're so far off still, but it's really fun chasing them. Now, do I ever think it's feasible to catch them and actually get up there into that, actual top five of, properly top players of Bushido? Nah, I don't think so. But I'd love to try. And if it happens, it happens. It's weird, really, because I've never had this competitive drive in other games either. Like, sure, I played some tournaments here and there in other games, but I was never really invested in becoming good. but something about Bushido just tickles me differently, and I want to be good. This doesn't mean I want to, only play the top competitive lists and spam them as much as possible. I'm not playing a weak list, I'd say, in Dissension. It's a pretty good list, and the overall concept is stolen from Mutaz, so there's that. But it's like I'm not trying to follow the meta picks, and I really enjoy trying to find like my own weird lists and doing something with it. Now that I would say there's not too much room for that in Dissension right now, but that's just the faction that I've picked up and I'm playing right now. But in other factions, there's so much like room for creativity, especially in something like Silver Moon, which I'm looking forward to playing maybe next year. I'd really love to make some very, very gimmicky things work and see if, there is some like even a smidgen of potential there. And this kind of brings me into the last point I already have on my quick notepad scribbling, which is the weirdest thing about Bushido is realizing every few weeks or so I have this epiphany about the game where I'm like, oh my god, that's how that actually works. And this changes everything about the game. So I've lost track of the times that I've reevaluated a profile um, and just thought like, oh my god, this profile's amazing. And then a month later, I'm like, this profile is terrible. And a month later, that same profile, oh no, it's amazing because I didn't even understand what that did. And it has this interaction. And the cool thing about this is the game constantly feels new to me. Like I'm just still in this exploration phase, and it's been a year. I always go really deep and hard into something that I have an interest in. Like I will just waste so many hours, like when I'm in the train um, or in the bus, and just read and read and read about things and try and understand it to its full potential. And when I was younger and played a lot of PC games, like I would always try and break the game and understand its mechanics. And then once I've done that, I'd lose interest. And I think I've just come to the realization that I'm not even sure I can do that in Bushido. Like it's too complex. And this is a great thing. Like it's the first game where I've had this really awesome feeling of there's always more to explore. There's always more to find and discover and tinker around with and have fun with and test out. And what about this matchup and that matchup? And what if I take that matchup but put it into this scenario and that changes everything again? So yeah, Bushido's a weird one, man. But I'm really, really enjoying it. Yeah, and that's kind of been my first year here in Bushido. From starting out and almost quitting because I didn't have someone to play with to somehow I've been now fully, integrated into this community and it feels like I'm well, at least the way some people talk to me feels like I'm more than I am, which really I'm not. I'm just a dude who has this little bit of spare time on his hands to record games and upload them to YouTube. I don't do much, right? Because there's no editing work. And it's just fun to chat about the game. Um, I think, yeah, what I want to say is just I'm so grateful to everybody in the Bushido community. Thank you, thank you, thank you for making this such an amazing place. And also, I haven't met anyone who's a dickhead yet. Everybody's been nothing but wonderful. And I've had so many bad experiences in other games, especially in the competitive side. Cough, cough, 40k, cough, cough. Um, but everybody in Bushido has been nothing but lovely. And especially like the top players who, at least in other games, I would say were more prone to being very competitively minded and, give no quarter. But it's those people in particular, I think, who are even more generous and, calm about the game. I don't know why that is. Maybe because, the average crowd tends to be a few years older than in other games, and maybe it's your second or third war game, and you've kind of mellowed a bit. And yeah, don't know what exactly the reasons are, but you guys are all amazing. Thank you so much for making this, Bushido space the amazing community that it is. And I hope it continues long into the future because I'm having so much fun. Uh, I really cannot state how much just enjoying myself, right? Yeah. So awesome. I just want to keep doing this, guys. Um, and for those now more than 100 people who've subscribed, thanks. I'll try to validate your trust and support in this tiny side project of mine with more content. Luckily, I've got some more recordings that will be going up soon. Yeah, and if there is demand for it, maybe we can do some other content. Let's see. Like, I know I did like faction primers a few months ago, like for Shiho and Awoken, because those factions just didn't have a guide pinned in the Discord. But at the same time, like, there is a bit of a problem with me doing that content, and that is, excuse me, first being I'm not an expert. Like, I've only been playing this game for a year, so my actual like deep faction knowledge is very limited to maybe Dissension, and I'm not bad with Shiho. And Awoken, I think I just got lucky because at the time that I did the Awoken guide, the amount of models was just so few that you could kind of just read through it, and it was mostly obvious. But that has changed now with the release of the Kimura. And there have been people already asking me for like, oh, part two Awoken. I do not feel comfortable doing that because I have no clue what I'm talking about. Or I know at least 2 months ago, I think someone asked for a ninjas guide. I've never played ninjas in my life. I have no clue how to play them. So like it's weird because I wouldn't feel comfortable telling people like, oh, you should do this and this. And if I just, take the faction guide and make that into a video, am I not just stealing their content? I don't think I should do that. So maybe this can be done in a sort of collaborative format or with permission from the guide creators. I don't know. We'll see. Because I do think it's valuable as content in itself. Because I know a lot of people aren't on Discord, just judging by the size of the Facebook group alone. Like it feels like many times more people, um, and so many times also on Reddit. So many people post in the Bushido tabletop channel and just seem to not be aware that there is a Discord where you should be if you play this game. Like, it's the best place to learn about any faction or keep up to date with news. Um, yeah, so maybe YouTube can be that channel where I can push people to the Discord, as well as provide, you know, the knowledge that you would have from the Discord is video form. It's interesting. We'll think about it. And if there's enough, demand for it, why not? Um, Maybe I can find a lazy Saturday or Sunday, or maybe a slow day like today, where I can record for like an hour or so, and it not get in the way of work or taking care of the family. Yeah. Anyway, that's enough from me. I've talked for almost half an hour now. So thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. Do let me know in the comments below if there is any content you'd be interested in. And yeah, we'll see what we can get done. As said, not too sure about guides because I'm not an expert, but I will do my best if that is what people want. Yeah. And thank you for being part of this journey. It's been incredibly fun and continues to be so. And it's all thanks to you guys. So thanks and see you soon.